Hey guys, this is RS11F and I'm here to bring you a review on chapter 824 of Detective Conan. This chapter was just phenomenal. Words cannot describe how epic this chapter was. And yeah, let's get started. The chapter starts out with people on the train freaking out about the smoke, thinking it was fire. Then we see Vermouth and Yukiko, which is Jimmy's mom, continuing on with their conversation. Vermouth tells Yukiko how she knows that Sherry will go straight to the Carriage 8, the source of the fire, and that she will realize that once she gets there, it will be a trap by the organization. And then in the middle of the conversation, Yukiko's phone rings, and then Vermouth takes it away and answers the phone, and she disguises her voice as Yukiko because Conan is the one that's calling her. Conan tells her that he can't find Haibara anywhere, and if she's with you, Vermouth tells Conan that she has not come here and maybe she went to the front of the train to hide herself in the crowd. And then Conan tells her to stick to the plan and hangs up. Then Vermouth gets a message from Bourbon saying that he has found Sherry at Carriage 8. And then we see Amorro, who is Bourbon, which was revealed in the last chapter. Bourbon is talking with Sherry. Bourbon tells Sherry that he has met her parents and sister. Sherry says that, yeah, I've heard of you. You're the rival of my sister's lover, Muroboshi Dai. For those of you who don't know, Muroboshi Dai is Shuichi Akai. Dai is one of his aliases. That's his name while he was undercover from the FBI trying to find information on the black organization. So that was one of his aliases. Uh, so yeah, Bourbon says that he couldn't believe the reports on Akai being killed. So Bourbon disguised himself as Akai with the scar to see if the people close to Akai would be shocked to see him alive, and he will observe their reactions. It turns out that all this time Scar Akai was actually Amuro slash Bourbon. So if you guys remember a while back, well, when they were in the department store, Chianti, one of the snipers from the organization, what's it called? She saw Scar Akai smiling at her, so it must have been Amuro disguised as him. So yeah, and then he tells her that he can now conclude that Akai is really dead from their reactions from the people close to him. This could imply that. So this is what I'm thinking. This could imply that the FBI members still think that Akai is dead, or they are just faking their reactions. So they might be in on it, or they actually think that he's dead and Kai hasn't told them that he's alive to protect them. So that's what I'm thinking. And then Bourbon tells her that to go to the storage room beyond carriage 8, and Bourbon pulls out a gun, telling her to get in there. Then we see Jurikichi, which is Sonoko's grandfather, I think, or uncle, freaking out, telling his men to seize the culprit when the train arrives. Then, as we all know, Jin and Vodka are spying on Jurikichi. And Vodka tells Jin that there are bombs on the train and will explode once the train comes into the platform. Vodka tells Jin that how are Vermouth and Bourbon going to escape the train. Jin says, I don't give a shit. He says he doesn't care. So that was pretty funny. Uh, then Vodka tells Jin that Vermouth asked him to give her some of the explosives if there were any left. And then we see Bourbon and Sherry. Bourbon tells Sherry that he is going to keep her alive and take her to the organization. Uh, he's telling her that she's gonna put her to sleep, and he's gonna break the link between the two carriages uh with the explosives, and he tells her to not worry because she's gonna be far away from the explosion to not be injured. Then we see that Sherry notices more explosives on the train, and then Vermont starts to think that Vermont is determined to kill Sherry because he thinks that Vermont is the one who put the explosions there and is determined to kill Sherry. Bourbon tells her to go in anyway, and says, "Oh well, might as well go in. You have no choice." Then the door behind them opens. We see this silhouette that looks like Akai. Then a grenade is thrown at Bourbon, and then Bourbon freaks out, asking who's there, thinking it's Vermouth. Then we see Shuichi Akai. We see him clear as day. Oh, that was just an epic moment right there. uh I got hyped once that happened, cause we all know that Akai is still alive, because what's it called? I forgot that girl's name. That girl's name is obviously Akai's sister. Amorro is Bourbon, and Subaru is Shuichi Akai, and you'll know why at the end of the chapter once I tell you. Then there's an explosion. Uh, from the grenade, Bourbon manages to escape the explosion. Then another explosion happens, but this time it's in the storage hold where Sherry is in. And then we go back to Vermouth and Yukiko. Vermouth was the one who detonated the bomb in the storage hold where Sherry it was at. Vermouth says that's the end. Thinking she killed Sherry. As I said, thinking she killed Sherry. You find out at the end of the chapter why I said that. And then Vermouth leaves the room, and Yukiko is left alone. We see Bourbon, and he says that the silhouette I just saw, and it is like that. He thinks that Akai is still alive. And then we see Jin again talking to Vermouth via the phone, telling her if she really killed Sherry and if he really is dead. Vermouth is out on the platform because the train has stopped. Everybody is out on the platform. Vermouth is disguised as a woman with ponytails. She hangs the phone. Behind her are the detective boys and Dr. Agasa. Motohiko says that Haibara was in room B, carriage 7 all along, and Vermouth hears this. Agasa is holding Haibara on his back. Vermouth remembers uh, when Conan called her and found out it was all an act. She's thinking, who is the girl who was blown up? She hears Conan talking to someone. That person is Kaito Kid. Kaito Kid was actually Haibara in disguise. So here's why he was in disguise. It turns out that Kaito Kid was disguised as what's it called? One of the, I think, 7 or 8 mystery persons that we met in the beginning of the series. Which is like, I don't know, 4 chapters ago. I don't remember. He was the woman pushing that old lady in the wheelchair around. And then Conan notices during the chapter series on the train, he notices and tells him that if you don't want me to report you to the police, then do me a favor. Kaito Kid says, sure, why not? And then he disguises her as Haibara. And then, what's it called? Amuro tells Vermouth if he can see files from uh, Akai's death. At the end of the chapter, we see Saburo Okiya. If you look at his eyes, it kind of looks like Akai's eyes. So Saburo's Akai next week. What's it called? Gosho Ayama will be on a break. So no new chapter next week. But tell me your thoughts on this chapter. Saburo Okiya has to be Akai. There's no other possible reason. So yeah, tell me your thoughts. Did you like this chapter? Give me your thoughts on everything. I actually thought that the Detective Conan series was coming to an end, but I'm glad it's not this early. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next video.